Welcome everyone. My name is Gunesh. I'm the marketing manager at Inspire-Tech. Thank you for joining us. I'll be your moderator today. And today's topic is reimagining the digital workplace in the new normal. And we have Edward Law from Nutanix, Keith Yap from Imperium Solutions, and Xiaohan Bei from Inspire-Tech with us. Nutanix makes infrastructure invisible, elevating IT to focus on applications and services that power their businesses. And Imperium Solutions is one of the major technology providers for digital automation, data analytics, AI, and cybersecurity solutions in Singapore. And Inspire-Tech provides easy-to-use and secure software products to boost workforce efficiency and productivity in both public and private sectors. And today is the last webinar of the Future of Work webinar series. So if you were with us in any of the last 4 weeks sessions, thank you for joining us again. And if it's your first time with us in our webinar series, welcome and thank you again for being with us. And let's look at the agenda for today. Yeah, so similar to last week's, we will start off with why Future of Work webinars, and after that, a short discussion on the challenges that enterprises face and what some trends that are happening. And then we'll have a short presentation from each company and a short summary on how these three companies' solutions get together to overcome the adaptation of the new normal issues in remote or hybrid work environment. And then we will close off with another short discussion on the future tips and tricks from our speakers and a Q&A session. So just a little housekeeping before we get started. First of all, we will be giving out some small gifts and we'll announce the winners after the Q&A session. As for the Q&A session, if you have any questions during the presentations, please use the Q&A button instead of the chat button on your control panel at the bottom or top. We'll be collecting them, and then during the presentation, then we will try to ask as many of them as possible to our speakers. And then, yes, then we can start. Like, why did we decide to create a webinar series called Future of Work? Because we wanted to highlight the importance of innovating and adapting to the latest trends. A lot of organizations have already started their digital transformation journeys, but it was definitely much at a slower rate than what we had to face this past year. And so the pandemic has accelerated basically the transformation and then changed some workforce trends already. Adoption of automation, digitalization, remote work, and more. So we decided to have these webinars to get together with our partner companies to discuss how we help organizations to address these challenges, ease the transition to this new normal, and prepare for the future of work. And for this Future of Work webinar series, we have planned 5 webinars in 5 weeks. And today is the end of our webinar series. It's been quite a journey that we had the opportunity to hear from so many different companies and experts. And we hope that you will have some new insights by the end of this webinar too. So today we will be looking at like 3 products as a whole: Nutanix and Splunk from Imperium Solutions, and then EasiShare from Inspire-Tech. Our speakers will go through how these solutions help to embrace the new normal in our workplaces. So how IT leaders can make employees a part of the defense, and then what alternative solutions can the IT team introduce to govern a dispersed workforce, remote and hybrid work as well. So with that, let's welcome our speakers, Edward, Keith, and Bei. Welcome to the last webinar of the Future of Work webinar series. Thank you for being with us again. So like I mentioned, we're starting off with the short discussion of the challenges. So my question is for all of you, when you look at the future of work, what are you all hearing from your clients as common pain points across industries? So what are the key challenges that they are facing these days, especially with the new normal that we have to adjust to? Yeah, Edward, would you like to start?
Sure. Thanks, Dinesh, for giving me the opportunity to speak. So I think in terms of challenges, right? We have been speaking to our customers quite a fair bit over the last a couple of years, right? I've been Nutanix for coming up to 5-6 years. But I think it's been the recent 1-2 years, especially during the last 6 months, right, that we went through this new normal, right? Because again, the topics around the new normal, and we find that the customers that we talk to are facing a lot of challenges in terms of responding, right? And not just in terms of responding to the COVID, but primarily changing how IT functions in this pandemic period. Of course, a lot of the customers had to rapidly adopt new technologies, especially during the last 6 to 8 months. And one of the key challenges, right, is onboarding some of their IT workforces, right, to these new technologies. New technologies exist everywhere, anywhere, and anytime, right? There's always been disruptors and things like that. But I think it's in terms of how can I really get my people, right, or my IT team, right, to be able to adopt the relevant new technology that doesn't get them to push back. I guess that's one of the biggest challenges that I see, when talking to customers. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Keith?
Yeah, hello and thank you. So for Imperium Solution itself, what we actually see is more of because we are SI company, so we do a lot of implementation. So with the implementations itself, we are usually down at customer sites. So with COVID coming in, it became a really awkward situation that, we are unable to go down to customer sites. So we had to adopt those remote conferences technology like Zoom, WebEx, that kind of thing. But there is also limitations there because everyone has limited accounts. So it's not like each company, they have many projects running at one time. So because of this, there became a lot of challenges and issues and ultimately a lot of projects became delayed and some of them even suspended. So we faced a lot of this at the first few months of the COVID itself. Yeah, so for Imperium itself, this was, at least my team in Imperium, this was one of the things we kind of faced a lot during this period of time.
Thank you. Bei?
Right. So I think to sum up, I think due to the work from home situation right now, I think most of the companies out there are actually having problems, right? Getting their employees to have access to their files, right, from any time and anywhere, right? So I think another point that I would like to point out is, we do have IT. They have problems with generating audit logs, right? In terms of visibility, it's not so. It's pretty hard for them to actually generate all this type of reports, and there's also feedback saying that it's not so user friendly or hard to use, and in certain cases they might be relying on just a single point of contact for this type of different admin configurations, right? So today, hopefully, with our webinar, we'll be able to address these issues. These common issues that most of the organizations out there are actually facing. Okay.
Thank you. So thank you also. Thank you for sharing the challenges. So just to summarize, so we can say the fast transition to the new technologies and especially when it comes to implementation and adopting the new technologies there, and then having the visibility or the accountability of the file management when they're also working outside of the offices or office network, right? So then again, one more summarization. So we can also say that all these challenges, they're all interconnected also. So they revolve around the infrastructure, middleware, and user-facing software. So that's why the solutions that are chosen to adapt to this sudden shift to the new normal, they have to be able to integrate with each other seamlessly, and they have to be compatible with the existing systems and processes also, right? So with that, I will pass it to Bei to talk about EasiShare from Inspire-Tech. And Bei, you can take over the screen. Yeah, perfect, we can see. Over to you.
Right, so hello and welcome everyone to joining our joint webinar together with Nutanix and Splunk. So today, reimagining the digital workplace and the new normal. I will be talking about how basically, I believe today in most organizations, I believe it's actually quite hard to find a balance between IT challenges and employee demands. So we may actually face IT challenges such as, corporate policies or regulations, audits or legacy systems. And whereas for employee demands, we also have to actually address the user experience, efficiency, as well as, giving them solutions with multi-device accessibility, right? And today, to basically address these issues, I would like to introduce to you all EasiShare, all right? It is actually an enterprise file security solution, all right, which allows you to manage, share, and govern your files from anywhere and at any time on a single platform, right? So, let's take a look at some of the common use cases that EasiShare addresses. All right, this is just a quick recap for those that have not joined our previous Future of Work webinar series. We will be focusing a little bit more on file transfer, secure collaboration, as well as smart sync and backup, right? So for our first use case that we will be going through, all right, Singapore General Hospital, right, they're actually using EasiShare today, right, as a unified platform which points to different repositories, such as their file server, SharePoint, and on the go, their management will actually require to have access to their files from their different files and folders, right? So in the event where EasiShare, where one of the users actually loses the mobile devices, right, to actually prevent data from falling into the wrong hands, EasiShare will be able to initiate a remote wipe to clear the downloaded contents on the device itself. And for NHB, they actually take care of 9 different museums here in Singapore. So due to the SMB shutdown, they actually require a replacement of their network drive. And with EasiShare deployed, users can access their shared drive just like Window Explorer. And with EasiShare's managed folder permissions, the users can actually easily set permissions on folders for their coworkers to do collaboration work. All right. And one more use case from the education sector, which is Ngee Poly, right? Similar to NHB, Ngee Poly requires a replacement for their SMB drive for internal drive access. And they also require a secure gateway to allow users to access the central repositories from the folders and files. So with EasiShare deployed, the staff can actually access their files safely and securely, and they are able to do collaborations with the features from EasiShare, such as versioning, check-in, check-out, as well as managed folder access. So just to show some references that we have actually deployed EasiShare to in the past few years, we do have the likes of LTA, HDB, as well as CAAS. And in terms of commercial, we have Resorts World, we have Raffles Medical Group, ITE, so on and so forth, right? So I would like to share, the 3 different aspects where EasiShare focus on, right? Basically, it's security, visibility, as well as control. And in terms of security, we do provide end-to-end security with authenticated access, and your files will be encrypted in transit or at rest. And in terms of file protection, other than just sharing the link out to recipients, you are also able to protect them by authenticating your recipients with our OTP 2FA before they can actually do a download or view the files. And in terms of sending files, you can also protect your files by sending it out as a view-only mode, right? And when it is a view-only mode, the files will not be able to download, and there will be a watermark that is splashed across the Microsoft documents or PDF that you have sent out, right? Other than that, you can also protect them with link expiry as well as download attempts. Okay, so moving on to visibility, as today we work with 30 plus Singapore government agencies, what we have done in part of this visibility that you see is we actually aligned it closely with the security policy of the government, right? So all of your user file activities are all tracked from the sending to the receiving point, right? So from who downloaded what, who sends what file, sent to who, all this are actually monitored in the central admin portal of EasiShare. And finally, in terms of control, the entire system is set up so that you can actually easily configure what you want your users to use and access. And all of this are actually put in place via the policies that you can actually create from the central admin portal, right? And inside the central admin portal, you will be able to easily configure and create user management, storage management, or even group management, right? So since we have been talking about the features of EasiShare for the past 4 sessions, today we'll actually do something new. We will be basically doing a deep dive into the central admin portal of EasiShare, where you can actually ensure your daily operations and administrations are actually seamless, simple, and secure. All right, so why the central admin portal? I think today, like I mentioned earlier on, the common pain points that most of the organizations will face today. Firstly, we are talking about single admin roles. Some solutions out there do not allow multiple admins, so there will be a bottleneck basically, right? Relying on just one source to do some different administration changes, right? And this is where, in terms of EasiShare's admin role segregation, you will have the ability to allocate different roles to different users, right? And secondly, the existing solution that you may have today, right, might be too complex or not user-friendly, or it might be too confusing to use, right? This is where with EasiShare's dedicated central admin portal, right, you can easily configure your different user management, storage management, as well as your policy management. And finally, you may be facing issues of capturing limited views of your logs. This is where EasiShare can actually come in to allow you to capture granular activities such as your login, your user login, your sharing activities, file operations, and you can easily filter and extract them, right, based on the period, actions, or even users. Right, so just to show some different features of the central admin portal, right? Firstly, what you can see is, you can actually set different multiple roles, right? For example, user administrator, storage administrator, policy administrator, and audit report administrator, and so on, right? You can actually assign them to individuals or as groups as well. And of course, we do have this super administrator, basically showing that, he or she will have all the different roles that he can actually have access to, all these different functions. Okay. And in terms of configuration of the user and storage management, you can easily manage your users and assign them to different groups, right? Other than that, you can also import your local AD users as well. And we do have multi-file repository support where you can actually point EasiShare to your different repositories. And in terms of policies, there are different settings that you can actually set, all right? There's sharing and file request policies that you can actually limit sharing to internal or external recipients. And earlier on, I did mention a little bit on the remote wipe. So this homing wipe is actually a second layer of protection, right? So in the event where your remote wipe is not possible, right, you can actually do a preset of homing wipe. So for example, if let's say this mobile device has not been connected to EasiShare for X number of days, it will actually do a self-destruct of your files and folders within the device, right? And finally, in terms of upload restriction, you are able to restrict the file size as well as the file type of the files that are being uploaded to EasiShare. And also, we talked about audit logs, right? On EasiShare Central Admin Portal, you are able to have a full comprehensive view of all your logs and reports, right? You can easily filter out and export the logs. And we also have the admin recycle bin, right? So this is basically, it actually allows you to retrieve the files that has been intentionally or unintentionally deleted. All right, so with that, I would also like to share, some security controls where you can actually easily scale and customize. So for example, under the user level, you are able to set storage quota, access restrictions. And on the device level, there is also a optional 2FA login or remote wipe that we actually mentioned earlier on, right? And under folder level, you may choose to set different sharing policies, permissions, or even set a recycle bin for that folder, right? And finally, for file, you are able to restrict file types through file type checking, as well as protecting your file with view-only mode. Oops. And in terms of integration, today we do actually provide you with different types of infrastructure from you to choose from. And EasiShare, you can actually choose to deploy it either on-premise, on cloud, or even as a hybrid. And in terms of the architecture, we do support both internet separated as well as an air-gapped environment. All right, so we will be talking about the integration today. All right, so today, not only we do provide a platform just for file sharing, collaboration, and sync, we also do partner with different technology partners, right? So today we have Splunk and Nutanix with us, right? To basically strengthen the offerings that we have, right? So for example, under semantic search, we work with Tiger to provide you with enhanced content searching, right? There's also automated document tagging to classify your files. As well as, under data protection with our partner SecureEdge, we offer optional encryption to protect your files. So in the event if your system admin, has access to the backend server, as long as the files and folders are encrypted, they will not be able to read the content of the file. And for threat prevention, every time you upload a file to EasiShare, you may choose to scan the files for any type of malicious content. So today we do work with Symantec and Trend Micro for the scanning of the files before they are deposited into the repository. And for REST API, right, today we are actually integration ready. We do provide REST API for different types of integration to your existing business systems, right? And under analytics, we do have Splunk today with us, which will actually allow you to view interactive logs, right? Where I'll have Keith from Imperium to share with us a little bit more later on. And finally, under data management, we do provide different storage connectors to connect to different storage, right? And in today's case, we actually well integrated with Nutanix storage. So with that, to talk a little bit more about Nutanix, I would actually like to point out that EasiShare is actually Nutanix certified. And together with their high-performing software-defined storage, which is highly resilient, right? I am honored to have Edward here with us from Nutanix to share more about Nutanix offerings, right? So I'll pass it to Edward.
Thank you, Bay. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, I think before I start, thanks to Gunesh and Bay for giving me the opportunity to speak. So I would like to share a little bit more on what I mentioned just now in terms of challenges, as well as maybe give a little bit of an introduction to what Nutanix is, right? I think a lot of people already may not have heard of Nutanix as a name. So I'd just like to do a quick introduction of that. So with that, right, so let's talk a little bit about today's topic, right, future of work. We talk about end user computing, right? Why has it changed, right? Again, going back to the pandemic, I think that really is a wake-up call to a lot of companies around here, not just Singapore, but around the world, to look more at, remote work, right? So, and of course, based on that, right, end user computing naturally comes in as a sort of solution for remote work, right? So in terms of why, I guess there's no need for me to mention much about the why, right? Everybody here, right, primarily knows why do we need this kind of technology. I mean, even in phase 2, right, or moving on to phase 3 in the Singapore context, we talk a little bit about, half your workforce should be working remotely and things like that, right? So of course, there are other benefits that comes in as part of EUC, like enhanced security and the ability to work anywhere and any device. That's primarily one of the benefits. Of course, the key challenges also come in terms of this, right? How much time, right, does it take, right? To set up, your EUC environment, a new virtual desktop, or how much time do you actually need to set up a new virtual application, right? We have actually found that, with Nutanix as part of the platform supporting EUC, whether you are using a Nutanix EUC solution or maybe from some of our partner EUC solutions, right? We have clearly demonstrated that the time taken, right, is very much reduced, right? So from a foundational perspective, we have actually, EUC was one of our first use cases, right? Even though we are a primarily infrastructure stack, about 8 to 10 years ago, right? We have many customers using Nutanix for EUC, or we do support a majority, in fact, all the main EUC solutions on the market, including Microsoft, Citrix, and VMware, right? And of course, with that, right, the adoption of EUC, right? I mean, I'm sure many of us has faced this, right? When the pandemic started, we didn't have a lot of time to respond, right, to the government's call to say, hey, get all your workforce to start working remotely from home, right? So some of us were like scrambling to, provision for solutions and things like that. And we face these common roadblocks like, oh, you're telling me I need 3 weeks to set up my EUC solution? No, but we are going to shut down in 1 week's time, right? I don't have 3 weeks, right? Things like that, right? So I think this is where a lot of people start experiencing what are the common roadblocks. And of course, I did mention earlier on, right? From a Nutanix perspective, we do feel that we are one of the more established foundations in the market in terms of setting up the EUC platform, right? As well as streamlining platforms with even our own desktop as a service solution, right? Not a lot of people know this. A lot of people know Nutanix for being an infrastructure software-defined company, but not a lot of people actually know that we have our own EUC solution called Frame. And later on, I think I will also show a little bit of integration with EasiShare, in terms of the file sharing solution in one of my latest slides. So from a cloud perspective, right, I think some of you have also considered EUC solutions, right, whether in the public cloud or, hosting your own private cloud solution. From our perspective, we feel that, you should have the flexibility for both, right? And we do have the platform to support that, as well as, dealing with data storage challenges, right? Again, not a lot of people know this, but we do have our data storage solutions, which is unstructured data in terms of Nutanix files and Nutanix objects, which I'm going to touch on in use cases in a while. But just to overall summarize a little bit of the Nutanix portfolio, so we have primarily converged all our solutions under what we call the 4Ds: data center, DevOps, desktop, and digital HCI services, right? So with that, not going to give you a bit more on the product pitch, right? Let's go a little bit into use cases. Right, so over here, you do see the integration with EasiShare, right? Using Nutanix files, which is a SMB NFS solution, right? So we have a native file server solution that can scale together with our hyperconverged solution. And of course, the integration with EasiShare, right? With files and objects, which I think Bay is going to cover later in terms of a demo. What's interesting about our unstructured data solution is this is something that's really different from what the rest of the industry is doing in terms of file analytics, right? What are you actually doing with your files? How is your user using your files, and what potentially can be done with those files, right? Like things like, Bay has just uploaded 10 gigs of files just yesterday. You know, what is he doing with those 10 gigs of files and things like that? So that's something that's different. The other thing that we also had, right, in terms of life cycle management, and I think over here, right, we can actually leverage multiple solutions like Splunk and both Splunk and EasiShare in terms of, right, doing tiering of data from tier 1 to tier 2 of storage solutions, right? So over here, what you can actually see is we have files and objects inside as part of the solution. You can actually use Splunk, right, to tier it to object storage, or you can use EasiShare as a lifecycle management solution. Both is possible. And again, one of the good things is that we are both certified with EasiShare as well as Splunk, right? We are actually Smart Store certified with Splunk as well, right, in terms of lifecycle management. So the last use case that I would like to bring across is primarily this desktop as a service, or our own branded end user computing solution called Frame. It's primarily a desktop as a service. Okay, so meaning it's a little bit different from the traditional VDI solution, right, in terms of providing virtual desktops. So what we've actually done with EasiShare in terms of collaboration was, now you have the ability, right, you know, to, once you're using your VDI, right, you can actually have your files, your file shares that Bay mentioned earlier, available within your virtual desktops, right? If you are the type, right, whereby you will have a physical desktop or like a laptop in the office, and maybe you will have a virtual desktop when you're traveling or when you're remote, you know, so essentially you have two desktops. You can actually configure specific policies, you know, for the file shares to be available, you know, when you are using your laptop, which is again a trusted, maybe you may be considered trusted a device, or, you know, when you are going onto your VDI because you're accessing them from the cloud, and you may consider a VDI a more untrusted version of a device, and you can actually configure different policies, you know, for your files, you know, to be available via EasiShare as well. Of course, all this can be hosted out of Nutanix files, and of course, the VDI solution, right, in terms of Frame, can also be hosted where on-premise solution if you have Nutanix, or you can be hosted in any public cloud vendor of your choice, right? If you prefer an Amazon, or you prefer an Azure, or you prefer the Google, right? So that's the amount of flexibility that you can really get, you know, from utilizing a EUC solution coming from Nutanix and, you know, collaborating with EasiShare on this. So with that, I will end my slides and pass it back to Bay. Okay.
Yep. Thanks, Edward. All right. So earlier on, I think we thanks Edward from sharing for the data management portion of Nutanix. Right. So we did mention about audit logs earlier on, you know, from the central admin portal of EasiShare. But today with Splunk's integration, you are able to turn these logs into a dashboard where you can actually view your logs in the forms of charts, tables, or even maps. So I would like to welcome Keith, right, from Imperium, to share a little bit more about Splunk's offering. Thanks, Keith.
Okay, hello everyone. Good afternoon. So thank you, Bay and Gunesh. So I'm Keith from Imperium Solutions. So I would like to, before we go further into the solution itself, I would like to talk about a bit about Imperium Solution itself. So Imperium Solution is a system integrator dedicated to helping customers digitize and future-proof their businesses to not only be disruption ready, but to also harness technology innovations. We are focused on driving businesses outcome by focusing on customer needs and sharing of use cases with industrial best practices so that our customers and their employees can actually work better and live better through the adoption of digital innovations. So the services we provide range from big data analysis, automation, cybersecurity, end user experience, and cloud services. However, today I will be introducing one of our big data analytics solution called Splunk. So Splunk is a data to everything platform. So what does it mean when I say actually data to everything platform? So it is designed to actually remove the barriers between data and action so that people and businesses can actually get their data into, or actually turn it into doing. So make more with the data, provide more insights itself. So as partners of Splunk, we want to help customers act on their data. And in order to do that, a holistic solution is actually needed so that organizations will be able to investigate, monitor, and analyze their data. With Splunk, we can actually ingest data with any structure, from unstructured to structured, any source throughout different systems without having to be in Splunk, and any time scale from milliseconds to months. So Splunk is the only solution designed to handle all of these challenges and help you bring data-driven decisions and value-added actions to everything. So Splunk Enterprise helps organizations to be more driven and to bring data to every question, every decision, and every action. So Splunk is best known for IT and security use cases, such as infrastructure monitoring, advanced threat detection, and SOC automations. However, larger businesses have actually expanded into business analytics use cases for predictive analysis and digital marketing optimizations. With the flexibility of the Splunk platform, customers have started looking into use cases that we have never actually dreamed of. So now I will talk a bit about the collaboration with EasiShare. So we actually created an app. So with the partnership with EasiShare, we've come together to provide a more holistic solution to our customers so that they can analyze their data from EasiShares to have some meaningful insights about data security, user activities, and even IT infrastructural planning. So the first dashboard that I'll be showing here is the overview dashboard that has been created to allow EasiShare administrators to easily identify logins of all their users. Some of the panels actually display the number of logins and as well as locations of where the users have actually logged in from. And also field logins, like what are the top field login reasons. The next dashboard is actually the download overview. So for items downloaded from EasiShare, just as the login overview, the panels actually display number of downloaded items and the location of where the users are actually downloading the data from. So we also have a security audit dashboard, which we have created. And one of the panels here actually shows like a geographically improbable access. So if you notice at the countries, there's actually 3 different countries there. So in a short span of time, this user has actually like logged in from 3 different locations, specifically 3 different countries, which is technically impossible. Yeah, so with Splunk, we can capture security incidents such as this. So some of the Splunk references that Imperium have range from commercial to government as well. So like MINDEF is one of our government, we do a lot of projects for them. MSIG, MEFG for commercial sites, and a few various more companies. With that, I'd like to end my presentation and I will hand it back over to Bei.
Right, thanks, Keith. So after Nutanix and Splunk's sharing of their solution, so how are we going to put all these 3 components together, right? So today, with the integration of Nutanix and Splunk, we are able to put all of them together on top of Nutanix platform, right? EasiShares with its file sync and share capability, we do provide a unified experience, right? Integrating all of these 3 components together. And with Nutanix files and objects handling the data management, we will have Splunk that will take care of the analytics and the logs that are provided by EasiShare. So let me show you how these 3 solutions will actually work. So first off, we have EasiShare users, right? Uploading files into EasiShare, right? This will actually reside in the Nutanix files or the Nutanix objects, right? And in terms of file sharing, there will be a link that is actually sent out to the external recipients, right? And they will actually be able to have access to the files and folders that we have actually shared out. And all of these activities will be captured and sent to Splunk, right? Which will actually allow you to view all of these logs on an interactive dashboard, right? So with that, I would like to show you how each of this solution will actually work, right? And I do have a demo video with regards to EasiShare's central admin portal, which I'll be playing it, right? So over here, you can actually see a user management overview, right? You can actually easily create new users, right? You can just type in their name, mobile, and their email address, right? And you can actually set them as admins, right? You can actually give them different admin roles. And of course, you can actually set them as super administrator, where they will have all the types of different features to have access to. And you also can actually group them up. You can actually create different groups. And in terms of the admin role management, this is where you can actually have a full overview, and you can hover over each of the different administrator and see what are their different rights. And of course, in terms for super administrator, will have all of the rights. Okay. And moving on to the policy management portion, this is where you can actually set and create different types of policies. We actually mentioned about upload restrictions, what is the file size limit. You can also disable internal or external share, as well as manage folder permissions, and file requests, as well as mobile security. So all of this, you can easily set it on the dedicated central admin portal. So we also have this admin recycle bin for you to easily recover the files that has been maliciously deleted, right? You can actually select the different storage and drives that you want it to be recovered to. Okay, it's just as simple as that. And finally, in terms of the user audit report, this is where you can have a full overview of who logged in, at what time, at what date. You can also do a filter, and you can filter them by the user, the date. You can also filter by the actions as well, who has sent what file, what are the file requests, what is the file operations that they have done, all right? And of course, the guest operations as well. And finally, for admin audit report, you can also have an overview of what are the different changes that has been done inside the admin central admin portal. So for example, in this case, Igor actually did an update of the policies, right? The user profile, right? And you can also see a view of what was the previous results and what has he changed it to. And moving on in terms of connecting to different storages, EasiShare, we do have different type of storages that you can connect to. And today's case, I'll be showing you how easy it is to connect to your Nutanix files or your Nutanix objects. Okay, so it's as simple as that. All right, so today I already have this Nutanix objects. I'll be showing you how you can easily create different drives. All right, you can just do add. Right, you can key in the name, the path. You can also set quota, right? You can set a quota for this particular drive. You can set policies to it, and you can also set a threshold alert as well as the recycle bin. Right. So once this drive is done, you can set different permissions. So for example, in our case, I would like to have myself, as the author of this drive, right? I can also add my colleagues, right? I can set Max as an author, contributor, or a reader. And I can also add another guy. And you can easily just hover across the icon to see what are the different permission types that each of these users can have. And once you're done, and you can actually just do a save, and that's it. Okay. And moving on to Splunk, All right. I think Keith did show a little bit about how it actually works. All right. So I'll be showing you a demo. All right. So in this case, we are actually looking at the file downloads, and in terms of the downloads, you can actually filter them by the date. What are the files that has been downloaded, and what are the files that has been failed, and what are the top downloaded files in this case, or rather, what are the top failed download files. And it's pretty much the same for file upload as well. You can basically show how many duplicate uploads, what are the successful ones, and what are the ones that has failed. All right. And it also shows you where has the files been uploaded from. Right. And in terms of user login overview, you will have a time filter, a login from which locations. And there is also this additional graph where it actually shows login over time, and it allows you to track the trends of the login. Right? You can also track them by the users, which are the users that has failed login, and what are the reasons, why have they failed to log in. It could be, a wrong password, or other reasons that is being shown on the dashboard as well. And you can also filter them by which users, right? If you like to check, which particular users, what are the different activities of their login, why are they failing to log in, for example. And for user audit, same, you can also filter them by each specific user. You can view them, you can view what are the different operations type that he or she has done, all right? How many files has he uploaded, how many files has he downloaded, at what time and at what date. All of these logs are being captured inside Splunk. All right, same thing for guest users as well, who are not users of EasiShare. So in the event, if let's say I were to share a file to an external party, I can also keep track of where are they downloading these files from, right? As well as from which IP address and at what time and at what date. And finally, in terms of security audit, I think Keith did mention earlier on, this geographical improbable access, right? This is how you can actually flag it out, and the system admin will be notified on that end. It's not possible, right? So with that, I think I would like to pass it back to Gunesh.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Thank you so much, Faye. Let me share my screen, and in the meantime, you can see my screen, right? Okay, perfect. So again, thank you so much, all of you, Faye, Edward, and then Keith, going through how how each solution offers the expertise in the new normal, and how it fits to all future work environment, basically. And thanks, Faye, again for the summary of how three of them fits together, and then how they work, with the demos showing also how the remote employees or people remote IT teams, it might be how they can set the policies really easily, and how they can see everything from the Splunk dashboard as well, after connecting to Nutanix, of course. And then, so before we move on to the Q&A, you can see on the screen, right, it is the future. So let's ask our speakers to share a few recommendations that we all can take away from the webinar. So when you look at the future work, so what are some tips and tricks that you can share with us? Edward, would you like to start?
Sure. Tips and tricks. I guess planning is the key, right? So again, in terms of adopting technology, I did mention, I guess this will be a follow-up to the challenge that you mentioned in the earlier part of the webinar. So whenever you're evaluating any technology, I think that one of the key things will always be to evaluate, not just in terms of features and functionalities, right? But in terms of how easy it is to adopt the technology. I mean, like I mentioned, right, a technology, there are a million kinds of technology out there that's very relevant. So what is also key is evaluating how easy it is to adopt the technology, right? How easy it is, or how would your workforce, IT workforce, be able to rapidly adopt those kind of technologies. That would be where I think I would advise at least the people on the webinar to look out for. Yep.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, so what I think is it kind of comes down to the people, processes, and the technologies involved as well. Like I think by motivating like people to actually, or at least the people in the organization to actually adopt technologies that can improve our processes to unlock more potential, like agility, innovations, productivity. We can, in a sense, improve the end user experience for both the employees and, I mean, if there is customers involved as well. So, I mean, if we can do this, it makes the digital transformation actually more engaging and frictionlessness. Because I would think that when it comes to new technologies, people tend to like be a bit wary about all this. Yeah. So if we can like motivate the people involved to be more accepting and get them to see the bigger picture as well, and how to go forth in a proper way, better way, then yeah, I guess that would be one of the directions we should be looking at.
Thank you so much, Bei.
It's pretty simple. I think some tips and tricks. I think we have to look for a solution that is actually future-proof, right? So I think easiest way is to just contact us, and then we will just teach you, right? Teach you how to what are the real tips and tricks, all right, that you can actually use for this future of work, right?
Yeah, because it also changes with the existing environment, right?
Correct.
And like the use case and like how they're gonna use it, like yeah.
And also,
sorry,
I think,
added on.
yeah, and also I think Edward, I think used a lot of the word easy. So EasiShare, all right, will actually help you to actually overcome all this different challenges, right?
Thank you so much, like all of you, Edward, Keith, and Bei. So like this is almost like we are almost the end. So this is now the Q&A time. If you have any questions, please write it and use the Q&A button at the bottom. We have received already a couple of questions. One question is from Edward. It will come to you. Is Nutanix Objects Splunk Smart Store integration a certified solution from Splunk? Sorry, I read it pretty slow.
No worries. Yeah. Yes. So the easy answer is yes. We did do that certification together with Splunk. So it's officially Splunk certified. So if you're familiar with Smart Store integration, or rather the Smart Store feature for Splunk, yes, that is of Nutanix Objects officially certified for that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Keith, there is one question for how does Splunk costing work? But again, like when it comes to costing, I suggest like we take it offline. So we will get back to you, or like Keith will get back to you on that. And then let me look at another question here. This one is, Bei, for you. What type of AD that we can import to EasiShare? It is just for Microsoft AD or another brand of Active Directory as well?
So today, in terms of integration, we do support Microsoft AD as well as Azure AD. There is also an application, EasiShare application authentication for hybrid AD and app authentication as well.
Thank you so much. Let me look at the other Nutanix. So I'm trying to do like one by one. So Edward, this is for you. EasiShare was hosted on dedicated files cluster. Can this be run together with Nutanix HCI storage for VMs? Oof, mouthful. Yes.
Yeah. So that was kind of complicated, right? So yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the answer is yes. So I think one of the main value propositions from a Nutanix perspective is you basically run all these services of the base infrastructure, which is the hyper-converged stuff that we offer. So any services on top of it, like files, objects, or even our other kinds of services like Kubernetes, DB as a service, and things like that, all runs off the base hyper-converged. You can have them separate, or you can run them together. So the option is all there. Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much. Then, Bay, I think this one is also for you, Joseph, from Joseph. How long does the file stay in the admin recycle bin? Because you mentioned the admin recycle bin, I think, yeah.
So for the files in admin recycle bin, inside EasiShare Central Admin Portal, there's actually a setting where you can actually do auto purging of your files. So, there's like file sharing, there's file requests, as well as uploaded files. You can actually set, for example, for admin recycle bin's case, the files to be auto purged after X number of days. So this is actually up to each of the organizations to actually do a preset. So you can actually set, for example, 90 days, the files will be automatically purged out.
Like a housekeeping rules, yeah?
Yes, correct.
Cool, cool. Then the next question, Keith, can Splunk do like machine learning? That one you can take.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So Splunk is able to integrate. I mean, it has its own app to actually do machine learning. So like what we see nowadays is a lot of people are looking into. I mean, it's the in thing now, machine learning and AI. So Splunk actually developed an app that can actually integrate with data that you have already ingested and actually create models and everything for machine learning itself. So, but of course, that is kind of more advanced items and tasks that would need to be learned as well. So I need to be familiar with machine learning to a certain extent.
Maybe next webinar. So, we are almost out of time. So if we couldn't answer your questions, we will reach out to you like separately. So again, thank you so much, Edward, Keith, and Bay, and everyone who asked the questions and stayed with us until now. As this is like our last webinar of the Future of Work series, we have a bit more gifts to give out this week. So what I'm gonna do is like, Q&A is done, then the winners. So I will just read out the names first. So we have Derek Seed, and like if mispronunciation, I'm so sorry if there is. Sangeeta Nagarajan, Isabel Ang, Paul Loke, and sorry, Wang Chem Sam. So Sam, Chem. Okay, that one, we will contact you like by next week to arrange the delivery of your gifts. So congratulations to all winners. We will be, like I said, we'll be reaching out to you next week for the winners. And thank you for being us with today and the last 4 weeks. Like I said, it has been like quite a journey. So would like to thank all our partners who made this webinar series possible. Right now we have Edward and Keith and Dave from our team. So thank you again for being with us. So all our webinar recordings will be available to watch on demand. So we will get back to you on that, how you can watch them if you have missed out, because we try to have different content each week. And you can always reach out to us if you have any new questions after you watch those webinar videos. And there will be a link after you exit the webinar right now for our survey. So we would appreciate if you can fill out those so we can improve our next round of webinar series. And thank you again, Edward, Keith, and Bay. And thank you everyone for being with us. We have come to the end. Have a great day.